Yo, what's good everybody? SloMoBackSlap back here, hitting you with another video. Today we're going to talk about The Division 2 Warlords of New York. I'm going to do kind of a review of that and also get into what the current in-game state looks like. So, first off, let me just go over real quick how the whole expansion is. I'm pretty sure this sale is over with now, but last month, Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft made The Division 2 $3. And this was to get all of the people who hadn't given The Division 2 a chance back in 2019 an opportunity to get the game for almost free. They wanted you to do that to get into the game to see if you liked it, because it is a quality game. It just didn't have the end game that the first game had. Unfortunately, Massive made some missteps that they made with the previous game as well, and so a lot of the fan base, a lot of the community had tapered off. Now those people still already own the game, but Ubisoft's goal was to get people in that hadn't tried the game yet, and also to kind of bolster the attention and the interest of the people who already own the game with the Warlords expansion. So the Warlords expansion came out in March, and it was $30, and it has the DC Division agents going to New York to take down Rogue Agent Keener, who is the leader of the Rogue Agents and the very first Rogue Agent from the first game, who caused a lot of problems and was unfortunately not killed in all of the shenanigans that happened in the first game. So you head to Manhattan, or whatever's left of Manhattan. New York looks way worse than it did in the first game, and you have to take down Agent Keener and his 4 lieutenants, who are other rogue agents that he has as his top people, and they all have a region of Manhattan that they run. And you do get to see like Roy Benitez and some of the other supporting characters from the first game again, like Fei Lao, and you get to see the interactions between some of these older characters and the newer characters like Agent Kelso. The story is still, the Division story's never been all that great. It is what it is. It's a decent story, but it's not nothing to write home about. No one's gonna be making fan fiction about this, and people don't have long drawn out conversations about it, but the expansion story was, I think, well done. You can see the tension between some of the characters and their resentment of the Division due to just blaming them for many of the misery and tragedies that they've had to deal with. Whether they deserve to be blamed for it or not, it is what it is. But that's human nature, and it makes sense in the sense of what these characters have been going through. So my feeling on the expansion is it's well done. You can pretty much do it in a couple days. If you're playing the game for, you got nothing to do one day and you're gonna play for a full day, you can knock the expansion out in one day. But it is an enjoyable experience. Each lieutenant, some of them you may need to do a couple of missions before you're able to find their location and take them out. At least 2 of them, you can find their location pretty quickly just by talking to a community leader in the safe house of their area, and he'll point you right in the direction that he right over there. Go ahead and kill that fool. And so you can just go ahead and just knock him out. Once you have taken out all 4 lieutenants, then your supporting staff back at Haven are able to find the location of Agent Keener. And that mission, it's well done, but I kind of felt Keener, the actual fight with Keener, was kind of cheap. And I did it solo, so maybe for me it felt cheap, because he was just doing all kinds of stuff and throwing all kinds of Division tech at me, and I died a couple times. It wasn't that big a deal, but I just kind of felt annoyed because when I did die, it was always due to me being shocked and then sniped in the face, which was there's nothing I can do about this. That's kind of a cheap way to die. But either way, the expansion is an enjoyable experience. Worth $30? I don't know if it's really worth $30. I think the full experience of what you're getting is worth $30, but that expansion alone, nah, that's not worth $30. Now let's get into the other aspect of it, because people keep asking me like, so what do I do when I finish this? SloMo, what do I do when I finish the expansion and then I can go back to DCs? Okay, so this is what you do. There are a couple of things that they've implemented, and I'll get into those. Let me get into those now. Actually, more than a couple of things. They've reworked how armor works. So all your old gear, any gear that you have from 1 to 30, if it's not an exotic, get rid of it. Keep the exotics. Maybe keep the gear sets if you want to, but definitely keep the exotics, because they're going to get reworked in a later update sometime this year. But everything else, all your other gear, get rid of it. Not only can you not, with the way they've changed recalibration, not only can you not use that gear for anything past level 31 on up, like you can't even use the talents for it to recalibrate and then use into your newer gear, and to kind of take those talents and use it on those to make them better. So you might as well just get rid of it. Just junk it all. Don't sell it. Definitely break it down, so that definitely deconstruct it so that you can use those materials to help you when building new things. So the first thing I'll talk about is how they simplified armor and the weapons and everything back to how things were with Division 1. See, the big issue with Division 2, outside of the fact that build diversity was completely pointless, the big issue was that the RNG had RNG. There was just way too many moving pieces for you to be able to get a min-max build the way you wanted. The amount of hours you would have to put in to get a build exactly how you wanted it with the exact attributes that you wanted was just ridiculous. So they simplified all that. They made it a lot more like how it was in Division 1, which was good. That was something that was a huge strength of the first game, was this build diversity and how you were able to get those things done. So now they've gone back to that. And as I said, with the gear from level 31 to 40, you can take your gear, and now with the way they're doing recalibration, you have a recalibration library. So you can, instead of just junking gear that is like trash gear, like the talents on this I don't need, or this isn't a particular piece of brand that I'm looking for. If it has, say, a talent like Ranger on a weapon, and you want Ranger for that particular kind of weapon, you can go into your recalibration station in the base of operations, the White House, go into recalibration library, go to that particular weapon, and then under library, you can say, I want to store this talent. Or when it comes to other pieces of gear, other things like weapon damage, a specific kind of weapon damage, critical hit chance, critical hit damage, whatever, headshot damage, you can store the value there. So if it's headshot damage, 10% headshot damage, you can store that in your library so that you can use it for other gear that is of the same type going forward. So that will allow you to have, say, 10% headshot damage on your backpack. That will allow you to have the Ranger talent on all of your rifles going forward. Great idea. I think it really makes the trash gear that you get have some kind of use. If there's some value to at least one part of it, you can keep it for now and then deconstruct it and use it for your recalibration. And then once you want to actually, say, add that talent to your weapon or to your gear, it's always there for you to use. I thought that was a great, awesome idea, and it really has revitalized my interest in actually building different builds. I've already got 3 different builds that I'm working on right now on my PC agent. I got a all DPS build, kind of a glass cannon, and I'm actually using the glass cannon talent on my chest piece. I got a striker build, and I'm gonna get into how striker is trash in a minute. And then I got a skill build that I'm really kind of enjoying, kind of building around and using different brands that specialize in skills to really bring the best out of it. So that's awesome. So now I'm pretty sure you're wondering now, like, well, what do I do to get this stuff? Well, if you look at the map in DC, And if you hit, I believe, the up button, you will be able to see all of where the gear is, and it just changes every 3 hours, but you can farm certain areas for certain pieces of gear so that like you're not out here trying to just do whatever to find what you need to complete your build or to make your build better. They actually telling you in what locations you're going to find the kind of piece of gear that you need or the weapons you need. That's excellent. So Striker. So we have the other thing they implemented is a season pass thing, a battle pass, but it's free, which is awesome. So it's free. It's a free battle pass that you're able to do. And so you level up the way you will have a battle pass on Destiny, on Fortnite, whatever, all the other games that have battle passes. But the bit of difference here is that your rewards are gear sets, like the Striker gear set, which is nowhere near as powerful as it was in the first game. I might as well just get into it now. Striker is not good right now. It's the penalty of missing shots is too drastic. It's very, very difficult to keep your stacks. So the way Striker worked in the first game is the more damage that you did to an enemy, the more hits you hit on them, the more stacks that you would get and the more damage you would get. So you get the max stacks, you're just running through enemies. And before, it would give you a penalty when you miss shots, so the stacks will go down. That would be part of the penalty, so you needed to be accurate in order to really get the best benefit out of it. So it just wasn't just a gear set where you just did crazy damage and you could be trash at shooting at people. If you miss your stacks, if you miss your shots, you didn't get stacks. It didn't have any benefit. In the Division 2, they're going to need to adjust this because Striker, the penalty for missing is way too drastic. Like it's very, very hard to get max stacks. You pretty much have to nail almost every single shot on a target, which is nearly impossible considering the way these enemies move and take cover, and it's just not fun at all. I'm not having fun with it. I have enough for 4-piece Striker, which is, there is no 6-piece at this point, just 4-piece with all the 4 talents, and it's just not good enough right now. So sorry to disappoint those who haven't got it yet, but it's just not that great. But moving on, the other parts of what to do now, besides just grinding for gear after the expansion, is now they have this other group that is kind of similar to Keener and his lieutenants, and these guys are all Black Tusk operatives, and they are available to be investigated and found and then taken out one by one until you get to the main leader of their group. So it's the same setup. You take down 4 lieutenants and then that reveals the location of the main one. The difference here is, and although I don't know all the information to this, but the difference here is that you've got 6 days to complete your investigation for each one. So right now, the first one, I think her name is Neptune, and you have 4 different areas that you need to do the main mission of that area, which isn't difficult. Then you have to complete a bounty, which isn't difficult either. But then you also got to take out 3 control points. So you have to do all that to clear that area, and then you got 3 other areas to do that with. This is fine if the Division is the only game that you play. This is a lot of busy work, but you can get some really good loot by doing it, and you're furthering your progress towards getting the location of this lieutenant so you can knock him or her out. Problem is, I don't know if everyone has the time for this. And let's say if you have multiple agents that you want to do this for, like I do. I have one agent on PC, but then I have on Xbox, I've got 2 different agents that I'm trying to go through content with. That's just, it's a little much. I'm gonna be real. For me, it's a little much. I'm looking at, on PC, I am in the end game. I did one area and one main mission of another area towards the investigation of this lieutenant. And on Xbox, I haven't completed the Warlords of New York yet. So the season has already started. you've got like 5 more days left in this season to take care of this lieutenant. And there are some people who haven't completed the Warlords expansion yet. So what does that mean for them? What have they completed after this time period's over and is moved on to a different lieutenant? Does it roll back to the first one? I don't know. So these are questions, I guess. Maybe if Dave Massive has already answered them, you guys can let me know in the chat. If not, I don't know. So I would say it's worth it. There's content here. You definitely can't say I have nothing to do in the Division anymore. Like, there is a ton of crap to do. It's just, do you want to do it? Do you have the time to do it? And that's pretty much the gist of it. I am excited for what they're going to do for year 2. I will advocate that I want to see survival mode. I know they don't have plans for it yet, but I want that back. I want survival back. Figure it out. I know it's not winter in DC, but do something. Make it different. Make it a heat wave where that's the environmental weather element that is causing an issue for you in survival, and that's, maybe it's overloading your Division Shade Tech gear, and you can't use your gear throughout that, or you had to get it, I don't know, insulated in order to make it work. Figure it out. Figure something out, because although this is great for now, and these seasons are great for now, I can see sometime in another three or 4 months where people are going to be like, this isn't good enough. What else you got? And so, I mean, that's the life of a looter shooter. You need to consistently be bringing content that players are engaged in, or they're going to check out and play something else. So yeah, that's my video. That is my overview of Warlords of New York. Let me know how you guys liked it. That is my advice on what to do after Warlords of New York. Let me know how you guys are dealing with that. And hit the like button if you liked the video. Hit the dislike button if you didn't. It's all good. Sorry I was a little bit long-winded today, but I had a lot to get out. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content on The Division 2. Peace.